Welcome back to the Whispers of Destiny. If you're new here, this is a mystery novel guaranteed to leave you in awe. Make sure to catch up on the previous chapters, as every part of this story is intricately connected, and you won't want to miss a single clue. Now let's dive back into the mystery that awaits us. Chapter 3, Shadows of the Present. The evening sun cast a warm golden glow over Willow Creek, painting the cobblestone streets in soft amber hues. Ava walked back to her cottage, the conversation with Mrs. Klein playing over and over in her mind. Ethan wasn't like the rest of them. He didn't age. How was that even possible? The idea seemed impossible, but there was no denying the fear in Mrs. Klein's eyes when she spoke about him. Ava's cottage was small but cozy, with ivy climbing the stone walls and flower boxes filled with bright blooms lining the windows. She had inherited it from her grandmother, and though it had needed some work when she moved in, Ava had made it her own. She unlocked the door and stepped inside, the comforting scent of lavender and old wood greeting her. She dropped her bag on the kitchen table and glanced at the journal, still lying open where she had left it. The words seemed to call to her, pulling her back to the past. But Ava knew she needed more than just her grandmother's fragmented thoughts. She needed something concrete, something that would help her understand who or what Ethan truly was. A knock at the door startled her, and Ava's heart leaped into her throat. She took a deep breath, trying to calm herself. It was probably just one of her neighbors. She crossed the small living room and opened the door, her breath catching when she saw who stood on the other side. It was Ethan. He looked different in the warm evening light, his features softened by the fading sun. His hair was dark and slightly tousled, as if he had been running his fingers through it, and his eyes, those same intense eyes she had seen by the lake, were fixed on her with an expression she couldn't quite read. He was dressed simply in a black shirt and jeans, but there was something almost timeless about him, as if he could have stepped out of any era. "I'm sorry to bother you," he said, his voice low and sincere, "but I think we need to talk." Ava hesitated, every instinct telling her to close the door and walk away. But there was something in his eyes, a vulnerability that made her pause. She stepped aside, gesturing for him to come in. Ethan walked past her, his gaze sweeping over the small cottage, taking in every detail. "This was Margaret's place, wasn't it?" he asked, his voice soft as he turned to face her. Ava nodded, closing the door behind him. "You knew my grandmother?" Ethan smiled, but it was a sad smile, one that spoke of memories long past. "I knew her very well. She was important to me." He paused, his eyes searching hers. "I didn't mean to frighten you earlier. I needed to see you." "Why?" Ava asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Why are you here, Ethan? What do you want from me?" He took a step closer, his gaze never leaving hers. "There are things you don't understand, Ava. Things about your grandmother, about me, and about yourself. I came back because I need your help." Ava's heart pounded in her chest. "My help? With what?" Ethan hesitated, then reached into his pocket, pulling out a small worn locket. He held it out to her, his eyes filled with an emotion Ava couldn't quite place. "This belonged to Margaret. She gave it to me a long time ago, and now it's time for you to have it." Ava took the locket from his hand, her fingers brushing against his. The touch sent a shiver down her spine, a strange sense of familiarity washing over her. She looked down at the locket, its surface etched with intricate designs. She opened it, her breath catching when she saw the tiny photograph inside. It was a picture of her grandmother, young and smiling, and next to her was Ethan, looking exactly as he did now. "How?" Ava's voice trailed off, her eyes widening as she looked up at him. "This picture, it can't be real. You haven't aged." Ethan nodded, his expression grave. "That's what I'm trying to tell you, Ava. There are things in this world that defy explanation. Your grandmother understood that, and now it's your turn to understand." Ava stared at him, her mind reeling. Everything she had believed about her family, about her grandmother's past, was unraveling before her eyes. She didn't know whether to trust Ethan or to be terrified of him. But one thing was certain. She couldn't ignore the truth any longer. "What do you need me to do?" she asked, her voice trembling. Ethan's eyes softened and he reached out, gently touching her arm. I need you to help me find something your grandmother hid a long time ago. It's the only way to set things right." Ava swallowed hard, her eyes searching his. What did she hide? Ethan hesitated, then spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. A key to a door that should never have been opened." Ava's heart pounded in her chest, fear and curiosity battling within her. She knew she was stepping into something far bigger than herself, something dangerous and unknown, but she also knew that she couldn't walk away. Not now, not when the truth was so close. "I'll help you," she said, her voice steadying. "But you need to promise me one thing, Ethan. No more secrets. If we're going to do this, I need to know everything." Ethan nodded, his eyes filled with a mix of relief and determination. "No more secrets, Ava. I promise." End of Chapter 3. Chapter 3 delves deeper into the mysterious connection between Ava and Ethan, revealing more about the past and setting the stage for the adventure that lies ahead. The bond between them grows as Ava agrees to help Ethan, despite the danger that seems to surround him. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you've enjoyed the mystery so far, don't forget to leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned. More twists and secrets await in the Whispers of Destiny. Tune in every Friday and Sunday. Sayonara.